ask two questions. This one might require a short answer. The Prince George's NAACP, the Parents Coalition of Montgomery County, and over 20 other organizations have called for a halt to the use of public school playgrounds for cell tower components. The Board of Education has never voted to put a cell tower at a school, yet we have 12 of them. Would you demand a Board of Education vote, and how would you personally vote on positioning cell towers in school playgrounds? And this time I'll start with, yes.
No, I think I had the first question. I mean, I'm happy to start.
Oh, no, it's actually Jill. Okay.
So my background is environmental justice. If any of you are familiar with that, it's that the most vulnerable among us are the folks that are most likely to be exposed to and suffer the consequences of environmental hazards and degradation. People of color, low-income folks, and children. Admittedly, I have not done enough research on cell towers per se to know all of the data, but my alarm goes off when I see where cell towers are being located. I don't understand why the board has not played some role in this. That doesn't make any sense to me, that they don't have, there's questions in the community, why are they not talking about this? Why has this not been an issue? I would like to see some discussion on that level of this issue. I'd like to learn more about it. I would hope that they would want to learn more about it. And then if you are going to do something like this, however it turns out, we need to have community input. That's critical. You need to listen to your community. And if you're trying to put this in a community where they don't know about this issue, that's not good. You know, it's like you have to let everybody in the community know what's going on and get their feedback before you move forward. You need to make sure that you've done that.
Okay. Laurie, so what's your view on cell phones and, cell towers? Cell phones, yeah. On cell towers.
I don't know, did I still have more time? I was looking over there, I didn't see it.
Oh, you probably had 10 seconds.
Okay, so then just quickly, even if we don't know specifically about cell towers, there's something in the environmental and children. It's the accumulation that we don't measure, and our children are being exposed to a lot of different radiation from a lot of different sources, just like they're being exposed to a lot of chemicals from a lot of different sources, and cancer rates have gone up for the past 3 decades in children. I think that's enough to tell you, let's make sure we do our homework before moving forward. I'm sorry, Laurie?
I thought this question might come up because I see it often in the Parents Coalition blog. I did a little bit of research on it. I don't feel like I'm an expert on it like I am on artificial turf, but that's another area, artificial turf, where you have public-private partnerships where the school system benefits from money. And I'm assuming that when you put a cell tower up, there's money to be earned by, and I think the money goes directly to that school. I'm not sure about that, but I think it goes to that actual school budget and not to the MCBS budget. And so the schools, the principals probably like the idea of having a little extra money because they're always desperate for more funds to help them with everything they need in their school. And I understand that need that they have. But I am very concerned about the radiation. It sounds like it is, if we don't know enough about it, then why put it up? Also, I'm not sure we need public feedback on that because, I would think this would be within the purview of the Board of Ed, but I would think you don't need public, this is something that affects everybody from this point forward, and I feel like if there's you should have public feedback. I'm thinking this through right now. There should be public feedback in the beginning, I guess, when the decision is made to do this, but I don't think you need to talk about it in every school. I think it should be like, should we have cell towers in any of our schools? And then have public feedback on that, not just like, should we have a cell tower at this school, should we have a cell tower at this school? So I would think that the Board of Ed should have some say in that. So yes.
Okay, thank you, Shebra.
In terms of the cell towers, the neighborhood where I live, there aren't a lot of those. That issue has not come up for us. But I will say that I think it's very important that we do have community input. a large part of what we will need to do is educate our community, because for the areas and the communities where there are not cell towers located, a lot of people aren't thinking instantly about the impact and the effects that it could have on the community because of the use of cell phones. And there are cell towers in our community, but in terms of being on the school ground, we would need to educate our public and have that community input and have that conversation. So I'm open to having that dialogue and talking with our community and sharing the results, the statistics, and the information, and letting the people know the impact that it could have on that school community, and just having that dialogue, talking to our community.
Okay. Next is Larry.
One thing I will never do is jeopardize our students for dollars. This is something I won't do because I just wouldn't feel good about doing it. So if we're jeopardizing our students by having cell towers in the school systems, then we're going to need to remove the cell towers. So artificial turfs was another issue that came up. If we were going to do that, then let's keep soda machines in the school system. We were making a killing on soda machines. But we realized it wasn't good for our students, and we got them out of the school system. No matter how much dollars we brought in, the dollars wasn't worth the results it was for our students. So if cell towers are not good for our students, we need to find out now before these 12 towers are already put in. So how far behind the 8 ball are we already on this deal? Because now they're already in the system. So somebody has a long-term lease, I'm sure, on the grounds for these cell towers. So the Board of Education should be involved in decisions like that. And that's what I hear a lot as I go through these debates and these systems. I start to hear about the priviness of the Board of Education and what they can be involved in and what they're not involved in. I can guarantee you I will push that envelope as wide as I can possibly push it to make sure that we're involved in a lot of decisions out there when it comes to our students and our school system.
Thank you, Larry. And finally, Kristin.
So I do not support cell towers on school grounds, and it's not just the safety issue, it's the fact that it just gets complicated. The liability, we're leasing a small square area of property. Obviously, the Board of Ed had to approve a contract at some point, but apparently we didn't communicate it well enough. Okay.
Sorry, they didn't.
Maybe we didn't, the Board of Ed didn't approve a contract. There has to be a contract because we leased property.
Superintendent signed it. Superintendent signed it.
And MCPS.
Superintendent signed it. Jerry Wiest.
Okay, but the Board of Ed enters contracts.
Never did they sign it. I've done, I'm sorry, I don't want to interrupt.
So,
I've done
no,
MPIAs.
that's fine.
I've
I
got
love
them all.
dialogue.
I've got the documents.
I trust you on that one.
No, I'm sorry.
So that is something that we just need to look into and resolve, because that is something that should be a Board of Ed responsibility. The other part of that is just, and maybe it was somebody who's in this room emailed me about Wi-Fi. That's another thing to look at, Wi-Fi within our school buildings, but I'm just not there yet on understanding what those concerns are as well.
All right, thank you. Unfortunately, we don't have time for